Amara Timeweaver. The dust motes danced in the single shaft of light slicing through the cranarium. Another Tuesday, another timeline catalogued. They called me Timeweaver, Amara Timeweaver, though officially I was a chronoarchivist. Not glamorous, preserving the echoes of what could have been. But it was necessary. Temporal shifts weren't kind to continuity. I specialized in the golden eras, particularly the Hollywood of the 1920s through 60s. A brittle beauty, full of manufactured dreams and very real secrets. I wasn't interested in the glitz, though. I sought the lost stories, the suppressed narratives. Tonight, it was the disappearance of Lila Monroe, not Marilyn, Lila. A star who burned brighter, died younger, and was erased. The official record stated she'd quietly retired to Europe. But the temporal echoes whispered of foul play, a scandal powerful enough to rewrite history. It was a whisper I intended to follow. My mentor, Old Manifold, always said, "The past isn't dead, Amara. It's just misfiled." The anomaly was subtle, a flicker in the temporal weave surrounding Lila Monroe's last known film, Crimson Shadows. It led me not to Europe, but to a hidden vault beneath a renowned Hollywood studio, Zenith Pictures. The studio was still operational, though a shadow of its former self. Inside the vault, I found not evidence of a body, but stacks of meticulously altered film reels, correspondence, and a blackmail ledger. Lila hadn't retired. She'd discovered Zenith's dark secret. The studio was funding a network of illegal operations, and she had proof. The ledger implicated powerful figures, studio heads, politicians, even a celebrated war hero. My investigation wasn't going unnoticed. Zenith's security, a brutal man named Krell, began to shadow my every move. He wasn't interested in preserving history, he was interested in burying it. I needed irrefutable proof, something beyond altered reels and whispered accusations. I needed to find Lila's original film footage, the uncut version. I found it. Hidden within a soundstage's forgotten projection booth. Lila's final scene, unedited. It wasn't just evidence of Zenith's criminal activities, it revealed a conspiracy that reached the highest echelons of power. As I began to copy the footage, Krell and his men cornered me. A tense standoff ensued. I managed to transmit a fragmented copy of the footage to the cranarium before they disabled my equipment. Krell believed he'd won. He was wrong. The fragmented data was enough. The cranarium, bound by temporal law, intervened. Zenith Pictures was exposed, its corrupt network dismantled. The truth about Lila Monroe, finally revealed. I had achieved my goal, justice for a silenced star, and the preservation of a forgotten truth. The aftermath was complicated. Zenith's collapse triggered a cascade of temporal ripples. Alternate timelines, subtly altered by the studio's actions, began to converge. The cranarium was overwhelmed. My intervention, while righteous, had destabilized the temporal fabric. Manifold warned me, every action has an echo, Amara. Even the well-intentioned. The publicity surrounding the Lila Monroe case also drew unwanted attention to the cranarium. Questions were asked, investigations launched. Our existence, shrouded in secrecy for centuries, was threatened. I had exposed a darkness, but in doing so, I had illuminated our own hidden world. The consequences of my actions weighed heavily. I wasn't just a historian anymore, I was a catalyst for change, a guardian of a fragile reality. The cranarium adapted. New protocols were implemented, security reinforced. The exposure forced us to become more transparent, to subtly guide history rather than simply preserve it. The ripples from the Lila Monroe case eventually settled, forming a new, more stable timeline. The scandal, though painful, served as a necessary correction. As for me, I continued my work, but with a newfound understanding of the delicate balance between intervention and preservation. The past wasn't just a collection of stories, it was a living, breathing entity, constantly evolving. I was still Timeweaver, Amara Timeweaver, but I was no longer naive. I had learned that sometimes, the greatest act of preservation is not to rewrite the past, but to ensure that its echoes are never forgotten. And that, I realized, was a story worth weaving.